Hi guys, I'm at one of my favourite places again. You guessed it, Redwood Park. I'm on the hunt for that mystery panther. And yes, apparently there is a panther stalking Redwood Park. So come with me and let's see what we can find. So this is the entry. Which way do I go? You can go that way. Or will I be adventurous? No, I'll go this way. What's this one? What do we got here? What does that say? Withcott Rocks. The Lobween family. Okay. Interesting. People have started their own little trend by the looks of it. Interesting. I wonder how long they'll actually last. So I'm taking the Redwood Forest Walk. Okay, so this is the first bit of our trek. I just love this sort of scenery. This is my type of adventure. Oh, people can take their I mean, I do like the beaches and that too, but I much prefer just trying to. We are officially into spring, which means snakies. So, like, I'm trying to give you a view, but I'm also trying not to step on a brown or a red belly black. That would be good. So I'm going to stop the video here. I don't want to bore you with the whole little walk down, but once I get to the next part, I'll continue with the video. Forgot to mention, along this walk you'll notice these little plaques. It'll give you a little bit of information about the area. I'm not going to read all that. You can pause it and read it if you want. It's just explaining what happens with the volcanoes 25 million years ago. Now you get all your different coloured rocks and whatnot. But yeah. I was just thinking as I was walking along, I mean, this is a movie maker's dream, like a horror movie director or movie maker. This place would be absolutely the best place to film a horror movie, which is something I've always wanted to do, by the way. I've wrote a couple of screenplays, but yeah. But yeah, the only thing it's sort of missing is a but I mean, you could work some movie magic, but it's missing like a lake. But seriously, it's the ideas are sort of coming through to me as I'm walking along. We are getting near the Halloween time, aren't we? But I mean, every time I've been walking these trails, I'm like literally, except for the odd few times, but most of the time I'm by myself. So I mean, a film crew would have no problems in making a little film down here. Actually, that might be a project for this year, to make a horror movie. Just got to get some actors and got to get the script done, screenplay. How hard could it be, really? If Steven Spielberg can do it, pretty sure anyone can. Whew. I don't know, every time I do these walks, they seem longer. I don't know whether it's I'm getting older, but one thing you do have to be really careful about is the rocks are very slippery. Don't come down here after it's rained. I found that out the hard way a few times. I think I learned the first time, but it's definitely not for the well, you've got to be semi-fit, let's put it that way. You've got to be a little bit fit to do these trails. You will notice in my videos, I always do like to keep a bit of an eye on what's behind me. It's always good to be a little bit paranoid, especially when you're by yourself. Alright, we're getting to the next part of our walk, hike, whatever you want to call it. Alright, they've got their markers. Down we go. Years ago, I'll show you as we get right down the bottom. Yeah, this is one, you've got to navigate this little pathway very carefully. Yeah, as you can imagine, one little slip. There's something in the bushes. What could it be? Can you hear that? No? Yeah, I know. It's just a brush turkey, man. It's just a wallaby. Just relax, bro. Just relax. Like, seriously, how many people have gone hiking and gone missing? You know, I mean, hardly ever happens. Oh. Steady, steady, steady. Could that be the elusive panther stalking its prey? Love all the bird noises. Now, years ago, this area had little little plaques or signs, whatever you want to call it, telling you about how decades ago this area actually used to be home to a zoo. And not a lot of people know that, but like around here there used to be little plaques telling you about it. Whoa, okay. Okay. Alrighty. As I said, it is springtime. I mean, it'd be great for YouTube if that thing started attacking me, but yeah, I'm good. Yeah, some people approaching. Still got the old fencing. Some of the old fencing. Okay, well, sometimes there's other people around, but you know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where they used to have like little plaques, and they'd tell you about the zoo and what sort of animals they had. And as I said, you can still see like the old fencing and the old. I would love to know what they did with those old signs. You lose something, mate?
Yeah, I've just lost my phone.
Oh, sugar. Yeah.
I need that. Okay. Pardon? I don't know. Fuck me.
You got no idea whereabouts you might have lost her?
No. No clue. I had him in my pocket 1 second, he's gone next. Mum, whereabouts were we when we were in that wood like that?
Okay, so old mate found his phone. He lost his phone, which is lucky because some areas there's no way you would have found your phone. But yeah, well. Chopper truck. They're after me. They're after me. You'll never take me alive. So we're just walking along. My favourite season of the year is springtime. Not too hot, although a couple of the last days have been pretty hot. I don't mind summertime, but yeah. See, sometimes you get these little hills that can be a little tricky. What was I saying? Yeah. But the one season that I absolutely hate, especially in Toowoomba, is winter. Anyone who loves winter, I've got to be very, very skeptical of. Little bees, are you friendly? Oh, okay, maybe not. Whoa! Go away, little bees. I mean you no harm. Okay. Spring is in the air. Yeah, I forgot how feisty like animals are around springtime. I'll have to remember to take some precautions. As the hiker was walking along, suddenly he hears nothing. Yeah, you can actually look online about some of the panther sightings in and around Toowoomba. We're just trying to think of but it's all online. You know, people will say, oh, you know, it's just a feral cat. Some of those feral cats, man, they grow big, but yeah. Or it was like a dog or something. And then people will say, you know, with everyone's cameras out and everything, surely if there was a panther, you'd see it. Well, down there's probably God knows what, and it's such a huge area. I mean, look at all the mountains and the hills, and perfect place for big cats. And as I have wrote about and talked about before on my podcast and my Facebook page, is my grandmother actually saw panther. Look at that, beautiful. That's going to be another one of my quests. Tabletop Mountain. If you haven't climbed Tabletop, you have to do it, especially before they, who knows what our government's planning. Are they going to stop people from climbing that too one day? What was I talking about? Yeah, my grandmother, she witnessed what she swears was a panther. That was in between it was between the Glasshouse Mountains and what's the other place? But it was in between the Glasshouse Mountains and another place. It'll come to me eventually. My grandmother was walking a couple of dogs, and suddenly the dogs got spooked, and she didn't know why, because they were big dogs too, from what I can remember. And suddenly she saw this, well, what she describes was this huge panther, and it was crawling along the ground, and its shoulders, its tail and everything were just like a, you know, like you see a panther crawling along the ground. And then within seconds it was gone. It went into the long grass, and yeah, it terrified her. She said that it must have been like stalking them for a little while, because they did hear noises and that, and the dogs kept, you know, acting up. Don't know if you can see that, the old range, Toowoomba Range. If I ever won the lotto, or if I ever become like a huge sensation on YouTube, which is probably going to happen. I mean, my content's pretty good. But yeah, if I ever won a lot of money, I would buy a house like on top of one of those mountains, hills, whatever you want to call them. Definitely wouldn't buy a place near the beach, because one of my greatest fears is tidal waves. Yep. Well, all of my fears really have to do with look at that view, with the water. My biggest fear is getting attacked by a great white. That's why I don't go in the water anymore. When I was a kid, I grew up around Redcliffe, and that's all we did. Me and my cousins would swim. We would actually have a contest. This is, you know, we're like 8, 9, 10 years old, and we'd have a contest to see who could swim out the furthest. And I was thinking back how absolutely friggin' stupid we were. But I mean, we played all day. Would be at the beach, climbing the red hills, all the tree, little caves, and we'd spend our entire life in that water. But now I'm in my late 40s. There's no way you'll ever get me in the water. And the thing that topped it off, I was actually, my fear of the water was it was getting better until I saw that one clip of that poor bloke getting absolutely, well, he got taken by that shark. It was all over TikTok, YouTube. The shark actually turned him upside down, and, like, you know, he was screaming out for his father, and then you'd see him, just like in that one movie that I won't mention, how the person, you can see the person getting pushed along the water by the shark. It was shocking, that video. And then I thought to myself, yep, no way. You know, even when I was younger, the old man used to take us out to the bush and would swim in all those creeks and rivers, and you know, out of St. George. And I tell you what, I wouldn't even swim in a creek anymore. There's no way you'd get me in creeks or up the Glasshouse Mountains. We used to go swimming in all kinds of water. And people say, there's no water around the Glasshouse Mountains, is there? But yeah, there was. No, I'm strictly I went on a cruise ship a few years ago. We went to Papua New Guinea. And yeah, how did they get me on a cruise ship? Well, yeah, it was, I mean, I loved the cruise ship, don't get me wrong. Was it Princess Cruises? But yeah, I don't think I'd even get on a ship anymore, because sometimes those ships, you know, run into problems, and you know, it's just not my, yeah. I don't mind looking at the water, but I don't like being on it or being in it. I love swimming, don't get me wrong. Spend all day at the pool, but just not. Yeah, you just won't get me in the old beach. I like being on the beach, I like, you know, looking around, and I love looking at the waves. I love the sound of the ocean. I just don't like what's in the ocean. Know what I mean? Yeah. Oh. I got a few dreams that I'll share with you guys, because I know you're dying to hear it. My number one dream is to go to LA, California, and climb the Hollywood sign. Climb to the Hollywood sign, you know what I mean. I've seen a couple of my favourite YouTubers do it. Adam the Woo and Michael from Grim Life Collective, and it looks pretty awesome. That's one of my dreams, is to get to that Hollywood sign. Growing up, movies was a big part of my life. Watching all the horror movies with my cousins, and I used to, we grew up on a farm too, out at Westbrook, it's outside of Toowoomba, and we had this old farmhouse, straight out of a horror movie, and yeah, we used to watch the old VHS tapes, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Madman Mars, all those movies. And I just, yeah, movies, Hollywood, you know, all that sort of stuff has always been a big part of my life. But getting out and actually doing stuff is what it's all about. You know, it's good to watch those movies and think about when you were younger. You know, every holidays would spend with my cousins in Redcliffe, Glasshouse. But yeah, if you haven't been to Redwood Park, I strongly recommend it. Also, yeah, I reckon springtime is the best time to do it. because, well, in the summertime, even if you try to start out at, 7, 8 o'clock, it gets hot so quick. Winter time isn't too bad, but I don't know. The only thing about springtime, as I've said, is you've got to watch the snakies, because they will be out and about. But a lot of the snakes, they feel the vibration of you walking and they take off pretty quick. They probably take off before you even know they were there. And yeah, if I ever do come across a snake, I ain't no crocodile hunter. I ain't going to try to pick it up. I've only ever picked up one snake in my entire life. That was out at Glencoe, another little place just outside Toowoomba. We had a house out there, and big old python, carpet python. Beautiful snake. And I thought, you know what? Because Steve Irwin, he was one of my heroes. I love watching him. I still watch some of his videos, DVDs. And just the way, he used to pick those snakes up. One day I saw this big carpet python. I thought, you know what? I've watched heaps of Steve Irwin's DVDs, and, I grew up on a farm when I was younger. I could do this. So I picked up this python, carpet python, and yeah, I did it. I felt pretty good. I didn't get bit or anything, and I let him go gently. And what was that? But yeah, I've picked up the old bearded dragons and all kinds of reptiles, but no. The poisonous snakies, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to leave them to the experts, because even the experts, I don't know many snake catchers that haven't been tagged, especially by the browns. Those browns are deadly. Steve Irwin, that was one of his things I admired about him. He was never tagged by a venomous snake ever. And he even went over to Africa and dealt with those, I forget what they're called. Are they mambas or huge snakes, eh? The cobras, he's picked up cobras. Never ever got tagged. Shout out to old Steve Irwin, crocodile hunter. Yeah. Another one of my dreams is to be, pretty rich, have a lot of money, That'd be cool. And I could just walk around and do this all day. Go to different places, film stuff, not be stuck behind a desk and for 12 hours a day. But yeah, my job's alright. Entry. Don't remember that sign always being there, eh? So I'm pretty sure I've been through that way before. Anyway. always be careful when, especially when you're on your own. I kind of try and avoid the grass because usually it makes it a little bit more slippery. I like sticking to the old dirt track. Doesn't look like it, but this actually gets pretty steep. Especially this next part. Oh boy. Ah, how good is that? Seriously. Alrighty. Okay. I usually do the old side walk here. So I get on my side, sort of one step, and yeah, professional hikers will tell me all sort of different ways to do it, but Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, definitely got to be semi-fit to do this sort of walking. Even though, you know, little kids can easily, you know, do these walks. You just got to be careful. You can get access to Redwood Park from the range side. For those that, you know, aren't able to walk these tracks. In saying that, I've never come that way, but going up and down the range, like you see, you know, the entry point of Redwood Park, and you see cars parked down there. Oh. So I'm guessing that it's an easier access from the range side, if you know what I mean. Oh. All right. Okay. Looks pretty slippery. Really does, eh? Easy, boy. Okay, that's better. Nice and easy. See, when you look back, you know, it's got a bit of a steepness to it, hasn't it? I was watching one of my favourite TikTokers yesterday. He calls himself the Whinger on TikTok. Old Ian, and he was in the park with his little dog Zeta, and his little dog was just, you know, minding her own business, walking around, and this bloke and his kids or missus, whatever they were, they started shouting to him to get his dog on, put his dog on a lead. The funny thing was, he was in the off-leash area, and Ian, being Ian, you know, was yelling back to him like, "What do you mean? It's an off-leash area." And started to get a bit heated. And then Ian said, I forget what he said to old mate, and anyway, old mate walks off, and then I don't know how long it was, 10 minutes later or something, you see old Ian switch the camera around, this bloke's burring towards him, And the bloke goes right up to him and says something. I'm sort of just, if I don't get the words 100%, don't sue me, but the old mate says to Ian, you ever say anything to my family again and I'm going to bash your head in or something like that. Tell you what, it was good. It was good. It was entertaining. And old Ian, after the bloke finally walks off, Ian, he turns to the camera and he goes, well, yeah, I'm not a fighter. And I lost it. I had a big old laugh. I found it very, he's always good value, old Ian, old whinger on TikTok. He does a lot of food TikToks too. He's got 2 channels, but the other one, his food channels, can get quite entertaining too, especially after he's had a couple of beverages. And his poor old, well, the lady he's staying with, Shell. I follow her too. She's good value. But yeah, I was worried for poor old Ian yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe it wasn't yesterday, but whatever the day was when he nearly got his when he nearly got punched. But to his credit, he's back in the parks again today, I see. So I couldn't have shook him up too much, But old Ian, he's not a fighter, but he, I don't think he'd ever step down if it came to it. Unlike Ian, I don't think I would have held back as gracefully as Ian. As I've said before, my first boxing fight was 9 years old, and I've had a few since then. I retired when I was, I stopped boxing when I was 19. My father ran the Calcadoon Boxing Club and the Garden City Boxing Club for many, many years in Toowoomba. In fact, he had one of the biggest boxing clubs in Queensland back in the late 80s, early 90s. Predominantly, most of his boxers were Aboriginals. He was training Daryl Hawes in the 88 Olympics. And he also trained Elliot Anderson, who they both were awarded Sports Star of the Year. I think it was the first time a joint Sports Star awards were given. But yeah, my dad was training them both at the time. So yeah, hey, I'm not saying I'm the greatest fighter in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not. But I know enough to sort of keep me out of trouble with the average bloke, if you know what I mean. I don't know how I'd go with one of those UFC fighters. I'd probably have to, pick up a brick or a rock or something to get me out of that one. But the average guy, yeah, I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident. I've had a few scraps in my life, not just in the boxing ring, but unfortunately some outside of the boxing ring when I was young and stupid. And then I made my way into the security profession. Was security a lot of the venues in Toowoomba. Rumours nightclub, the Powerhouse, or the Playhouse as it was called back then. That place has had more name changes than I think any other venue in Toowoomba. It was the Green Griffin, if I remember my older brother telling me years ago. But I think it's back to being called the Powerhouse. Not much is going on there now. I think they just have functions Yeah, I did security at the old Fitzies or Fibbers. But yeah, the hardest place I had working was Rumours, because back then it was the only nightclub that used to stay open till 5. All the other clubs, pubs and that used to shut at 2 or 3. So all the lunatics used to wobble over to the Rumours, and that's where all the fights would happen. Luckily I had 2 of the best security guys teaching me the ropes back then. I'm talking the early 2000s. I reckon if I didn't have 2 guys in particular, things could have been different. But yeah, my brothers have all worked in security. My father was a bouncer back in his day, and now my only son has carried on the tradition, and he's working at some clubs and pubs around Toowoomba, much to his mother's horror. Anyway, I'll do the old YouTuber thing, eh? If you like this content, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Is that what they say? As you'll see, I've only done a handful of videos. I'm very new to it. But I can see why it gets addictive. It is fun. And it also makes you get out and about, you know? Makes you know, want to go out and explore different places. I'm doing the Redwood Park again because the other couple of videos I put on, I don't know. I'm still learning how to, you know, do the cameras and everything. So this one's probably going to be a shocker too. But you got to start somewhere. You know, a couple of years' time, I'll have over 2 million subscribers. You know, people will be giving me awards and stuff. And people can say, hey, Troy, I was one of your first subscribers. I remember when you were walking down Redwood Park and you got attacked by that huge panther and survived. But yeah. One thing I did forget was like a